Our strategy is to grow revenue from new products.
How obvious does an idea need to be before we'll stop calling it a strategy?
And we plan to eliminate waste.
We'll miss you.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Strategy Conduit. I know what strategy is, I think. In this episode, we'll look to define this concept of strategy. So why is it even important to know what strategy means anyways? Well, imagine you're in a meeting sometime and somebody stands up and says something like, "What we need is a strategy." Now, if you don't know what strategy is all about, that can be pretty intimidating. You might not feel like you know what's going on. You can't really add any meaningful input. All you really can do is just agree with what's going on. However, if you have a basic idea of what strategy is, not only will you understand what's going on, but you'll also start to be able to contribute to the conversation. Alright, but in trying to define strategy, where do we even start? I mean, if you go online or if you have some textbooks, you'll see that there are many different ways that strategy can be described. In business especially, people love to explain strategy through diagrams. Strategy can be drawn as diamonds, scorecards, matrices, cubes, fishbone diagrams, processes, loops, cascades, layers, boxes and arrows, circles and arrows. So then, which of these are right? Are they all right somehow? Maybe the best thing to do here is to simplify things. And the best way to simplify things is to go back to a simpler time. Back to the early 1800s and Karl von Clausewitz. Clausewitz is regarded as one of the pioneers of modern strategic thinking, in the context of war, of course. Clausewitz defined strategy as the employment of the battle as a means towards the attainment of the object of the war. Now, in modern times, that's not really relevant, so let's just break this down. Key here are the ideas of the battle and object. So for Clausewitz, a battle was a conflict or an action taken as a part of a greater whole. So in modern times, that might mean a project, an initiative, or an assignment, something like that. And the object, or objective, for Clausewitz was the destruction of the enemy's military force. So the modern meaning would just really be a long-term goal. So to summarize this in a modern meaning, strategy is implementing a series of activities which ultimately leads to your objective. So, does this modified definition from Clausewitz jive with strategy today? Let's compare it to strategy guru Michael Porter's thoughts on the subject.
My strategy is to internationalize. I hear that kind of thing all the time. My strategy is to consolidate my industry. My strategy is to ramp up my R&D budget. My strategy is to outsource more of my production. Is that a strategy? No. Those are steps that your organization may want to take. They may be good steps. They may be appropriate steps. They aren't a strategy. The strategy is what unique position will we be able to achieve? What's our advantage going to be at the end of the day as we take these steps cumulatively over time? That's the strategy part.
So it seems that this basic definition of strategy holds up as well today as it did back then. I should emphasize, though, that this is not the one perfect definition for what strategy always is. It's more just to act as a guide. Also, there are two important points about this definition, or any definition about strategy. One is that strategy is dynamic. It matters what the people around you are doing as well. Second is that strategy really, at the heart of it, is about people. So what does it mean that strategy is dynamic? It means that you cannot determine what your series of actions will be too far out into the future. If you do, one unexpected move can completely derail you. This is especially true in business, where competitors are continuously trying to topple one another. What about strategy being about people? Well, in the past, strategy was more about the deployment of groups to achieve a goal. However, it is not a group that achieves objectives, but individuals. This is an important distinction. Ultimately, people must drive strategy, so strategy should be designed with human factors in mind. To wrap up, strategy is implementing a series of activities which ultimately leads to your objective. Now I'm focusing here on implementing, activities, and objective because these are the three key areas that will be focused on in future episodes. Thanks for watching, and check in later for more episodes.